You're waist deep in human
This is
waste.
just great.
It's pitch black. It's freezing. And if you breathe in the wrong fumes down here, you will die. Tonight, in a pit of sewage. This wasn't a nightmare. This was a job. A real legal profession in medieval England. And tonight, we're going to find out why the men who did it were both feared and secretly rich. Welcome back to the channel. If you love discovering the darkest, weirdest corners of history, hit that subscribe button right now, because today's story is one of the most disgusting jobs ever legally created by a government. Let's meet the Gong Farmers. In medieval England, there was no plumbing, no sewers, no toilets as you know them. Instead, most homes had something called a cesspit, basically a deep hole in the ground where human waste collected for months, sometimes years. Eventually, that pit filled up, and someone had to empty it. That someone was the Gong Farmer. The word gong is Old English for, well, exactly what you think it means. Their job was simple on paper: climb into the pit, shovel out the waste, load it into buckets, and haul it away. In reality, it was one of the most horrifying jobs a human being could do. Here's where it gets darker. Gong farmers weren't allowed to work during the day. Why? Because the smell was so overwhelming, so unbearable, that town councils passed actual laws banning the work from sunrise to sunset. It could only be done at night. So picture it. No electric light, no modern tools, just a lantern, a shovel, and a pit of raw sewage, worked entirely in darkness, so the respectable citizens of the town wouldn't have to smell it, see it, or think about it while they were awake. They wanted the problem to disappear like a ghost. And Gong farmers became invisible on purpose. Some towns went even further. Gong farmers were legally required to live outside the town walls, not because of disease control, but because the smell would literally cling to their skin, their clothes, their hair. Nobody wanted them close. Imagine being so essential to your town's survival, and being banished from it at the same time. Now here's the part that turns gross into genuinely terrifying. Cesspits didn't just contain waste. Over months of decomposition, they built up toxic gases: methane, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia. In an enclosed pit, with no ventilation, these gases could concentrate to lethal levels. There are historical records of Gong farmers passing out from the fumes and drowning. Literally drowning in sewage because they lost consciousness before they could climb out. One of the most infamous recorded deaths happened in London in 1326. A Gong farmer named Richard the Raker fell through the rotting wooden planks covering his own cesspit and drowned in the waste below. Think about that. His workplace killed him in the most horrifying way imaginable. And it wasn't even considered unusual enough to be shocking. It was just a hazard of the job. There was no safety equipment, no harnesses, no gas detection, just a rope, a bucket, and the hope that tonight wasn't the night the pit took you. But here's the twist nobody expects. Gong farmers were paid extremely well. In fact, some records show they earned more in a single night than a skilled tradesman made in a week. Why? Because almost nobody wanted to do the job, so towns had to pay a premium to get anyone to show up. Some Gong farmers became genuinely wealthy men. A few even used their earnings to buy property and hire their own teams of workers, essentially becoming sewage contractors for the entire town. So, while the nobles held their noses and looked away, the Gong farmer walked home every morning with a pocket full of coins. There was even a secondary profit stream: the waste itself. Once collected, it was sold to farmers outside the city as fertilizer, or to tanners who used it in leather processing. Nothing was wasted. Literally. It was disgusting. It was dangerous. But it made some of these men more financially secure than most people in medieval England would ever be. By the 1800s, as sewer systems slowly developed across England, the need for Gong farmers began to fade. The rise of night soil men in cities like London continued a similar tradition for a while longer, but eventually, modern plumbing made the profession obsolete entirely. But for hundreds of years, this was a real career path, a dangerous, disgusting, socially rejected, but financially rewarding career path that quite literally kept entire towns from drowning in their own filth. Next time you flush a toilet, take a moment to appreciate that you didn't have to be a Gong Farmer to make it happen. So would you have taken the money and done the job, or run the other way? If you like diving into history's darkest, dirtiest corners, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel keep telling these stories.
See you next time.
See you in the next video.